Where does this leave your head coach, guys? He was a Brian Burke hire, as we understand it. Have you talked to him, and where do you go with him from here?
Well, first of all, yes, we have spoken to Randy, talked to him this morning. And again, going back to my earlier comments, my relationship with Randy goes back further than Brian's. I hired him in Manitoba as my head coach. In fact, back when we were permitted to do so, I traded him to Anaheim for a second-round pick. So Randy is a quality head coach, and we're fortunate to have him. We think as a management group that our players, the youth of our players, the direction we want them to head requires a coach like Randy Carlyle, and we're thrilled that he's going to start the season with us.
In the back?
In the back here, between the cameras, Steve D'Souza from CBC. When Brian came in, he talked about a new philosophy for the team, or a tougher team. Truculence was a word he often used. I'm just wondering, do you have a philosophy for the team, and what will fans see when the team hits the ice that will be different from previous years?
Again, you're not going to see a massive turnover. It's impossible to do so in today's game and actually improve your team. You can flip players all over, but if you look back at teams that have done that, you rarely have any type of success. We've been fairly fortunate to add players, mostly through trade, that have been upgrades and helped our team. We've been able to add veteran players like Lupul. We've been able to add young players like Gardner, Joel Colburn, who is a first-round pick and a very good prospect, Carter Ashton. We're going to continue to try to add building blocks and pieces like we have in the last 18 months or so, where we've had some success doing that. In terms of how the team should play, we need to have players to play a certain style. It's difficult to ask players that may not be capable of playing a certain style to do that. But as a group, we have to be more difficult to play against. And I answered the previous question about Randy Carlyle. We need a coach like that to push players a little bit outside their comfort zone. And that's what we're expecting when the puck drops.
Jonas Siegel, TSN Radio. Tom, back here. Was this process a look into you're deciding that Brian Burke wasn't the guy to move you in the direction or the right direction, or was this a matter of you not seeing this club moving in that right direction? Was Brian the guy not to continue that process, or was the direction not where you wanted it to go?
I think, like I said earlier, it was more about leadership style and fit, and without getting into the specifics. I mean, it wasn't. Brian has won a Stanley Cup. He's one of 23 people in the last 45 years that have won a Stanley Cup. So he, has a proven track record of success. Did the 4 years of missing the playoffs factor into the conversation with the shareholders? For sure it did. But we also recognize that we're in the midst of a building process, and that we need to continue on that track and not try to head in a different direction. But at the end of the day, it was really looking for a different voice and a different leadership approach.